For some reason, once the clock turns 12, I become the most productive person in the world. As much as I joke about people who wake up at 6 a.m. for Pilates, I secretly have always wanted to be one of those people. I wanted to be someone who gets enough sleep, wakes up on time, and unfortunately, going to bed late and waking up early don't really go hand in hand. So given we're kicking off a new year, I decided it's time for a change. And I started by documenting a full 7 days of waking up at 6 a.m. and I learned a lot about myself. So let's see if I can turn myself into a morning person by the end of this video. I have some breakfast, some oatmeal. It is currently 6:35. I was just trying to give myself a little bit of grace as I was getting dressed this morning, but I'm gonna eat this oatmeal and we are going to the gym. I went into bed at about 9:40 p.m. last night. Tell me how I was still awake at 12 a.m. So my whole plan to get enough sleep didn't really work, but I'm actually not feeling that bad. I'm gonna document my mood in the mornings, throughout the day, and see how I'm feeling, because your girl is not a morning person, let alone a morning person that didn't get enough sleep. Something about oatmeal on a cold winter morning just hits different. It's still pitch black outside and I'm going to the gym. Who do I think I am? One of my goals last year was to consistently go to the gym, which didn't really happen. The same thing kept happening where I was basically making an excuse for myself and feeling like I didn't have enough time in the day. And sometimes that's true, but that's definitely one of the benefits of waking up earlier that really appealed to me, was waking up and checking off going to the gym first thing in the morning. It is almost 8:50, 8:49 to be exact. I've felt very accomplished this morning. I washed my hair. This is freshly washed hair. To celebrate my first successful day of waking up at 6 a.m., I told myself last night that I would reward myself to Tim Hortons for breakfast. If you're not in Canada, Tim Hortons is a chain. I kind of think of it as if Starbucks and McDonald's had a baby, but it's a Canadian baby. They do breakfast and I'm an absolute sucker for hash browns and a breakfast bagel. I think this is from Atomic Habits, trying to reward yourself or incentivize completing something. So this is my reward. I am so excited about this. We're in the den. If you're hearing snoring, my dog is like fast asleep right now. It is currently 10:20. I'm not gonna lie, I'm crashing. I don't know if it was the workout, the fact that I slept 6 hours, or I need another coffee. Could be all three of those things. I want to take a nap, but no napping. There are a lot of benefits to napping, but I already have such a hard time falling asleep at night that I don't want to give any potential reason to not be able to sleep tonight. So we're gonna push through. Bean is napping on the other hand. It is currently 9:08. We are running a little bit behind. My goal is to start my nighttime routine before 9 o'clock and then hopefully be in bed by 9:30, which is what I did yesterday. I am definitely feeling it and I'm very ready and excited for bedtime. So let's get this night routine started. Skincare is one of the things that I feel like always puts me in the mood for sleep. I was still a bit concerned about not being able to fall asleep. I have a little bit of anxiety, so sometimes my mind just spirals when I'm supposed to be sleeping. Because it was the first night that, I'm actually fully doing this challenge, I decided to take melatonin just to help myself ease into sleep a bit faster. I am obviously not a healthcare professional, so do your own research before you decide to take anything. Also, from my personal experience, I've learned that I cannot take this unless I'm in bed for a solid 8 hours. Otherwise, I will wake up feeling groggy. So luckily that was our goal for the day. Good night. I was in bed by 9:30 and I ended up doing a bit of reading like I was planning for. Overall, I was in a pretty good mood through the day, except for some dips in energy. I would say I was probably like a 7 out of 10, which is not bad. I just finished having my oatmeal. I am meant to be going to the gym now. To be honest, I don't really feel like working out and I've been dragging my feet. I'm also about to start my period, but that typically means I'm a lot more tired. I did get 8 hours of sleep though, so hopefully that helps. But instead, I've decided I'm gonna bring my yoga mat and we're just gonna do a little video of some sort. I like to do workout videos sometimes. I just don't want to break the habit of going to the gym, even though it's not what I would typically do for a workout. I think it's still a good thing to get my head in the right mindset. I was still pretty motivated on Tuesday. I think I was just excited that Monday had gone so well and I just couldn't wrap my head around that I was actually waking up at 6 a.m. This man was walking his daughter to school and he was like, it's gonna get way colder than this. Can we not speak that into existence? Because I am not ready for the cold that happens in Toronto. You guys saw this morning, but it was 0 degrees. It's currently 1, but it is windy, so that wasn't my favorite walk. My breakfast, this is probably my staple most of the time. I've been drinking this green juice in the mornings because I do not get enough vegetables. It is currently 8:46 or 8:47. I will say I feel like so far these mornings have been mostly consumed with me getting a workout in, but we're gonna switch it up tomorrow because that's not the only reason I want to wake up earlier. Even though I've had time to do something for myself and movement exercise is something. There's a siren. As I was saying, even though movement and exercise is important and something that I want to have time to do for myself in the mornings, I also want to use that time for other things. But overall, I think I am still getting into the routine of it. After I finish this juice, I'm definitely gonna have a coffee. It is 9:42. I'm sitting out in the kitchen area because there's actually a bit of sun, there's some blue sky, so I like to try and balance getting natural light, but I gotta say I'm kind of tired. There's some coffee in here. This was around the same time yesterday that I hit my first slump, so I don't know, I hope tomorrow I can like push past this. This is when I used to start my day, you know, and instead I'm getting more time in the mornings to feel productive, but when most of the world is starting their day, I feel like I'm at my low. Not my lowest. I probably just need to finish this coffee. It's about 4:30 now, and that means it's about to get dark because it's that time of year. The good news is I felt pretty good yesterday around this time, or around 3. I was feeling rough, but we are going strong still. Also, something came to mind. I don't remember where this is from. It might be Atomic Habits, but it takes 3 days to break a habit, I think. I am 99% sure there's something around a 3-day mark. So tomorrow marks the 3rd day and I'm super excited for that. So we are gonna get ourselves ready for bed. I'm actually gonna take a melatonin because I'm kind of worried I'm gonna have a little bit of anxiety tonight, to be honest. Reason I feel like I'm gonna have anxiety is because I was actually working on a video that I'm editing. One of the biggest culprits for me when it comes to sleeping on time is editing videos. I edit all my videos and I love it. So much fun, but the night before, if I'm not already done, then it's a little bit chaotic. Usually this would be me staying up until probably 2 or 3 a.m. and then feeling like absolute garbage the next day, but I'm forcing myself to go to bed because it's not sustainable. I'm not gonna go to the gym tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna wake up and use that time to finish my video, which was the plan anyways. I learned a few months ago that I definitely struggle with revenge bedtime procrastination. I'll put the definition of it on the screen. This would usually happen for me when I felt like the day itself was too busy, or I had a long day at work and I didn't feel like I had time to just do stuff for myself. So if I'm typically busy through the day, then I might not get to do stuff that I want to do, like editing, until 10 or 11 p.m. Deep down, I know, and you do as well probably, that you should just go to bed, get a good 8 hours of sleep. But on the other hand, I feel like I still have so much stuff that I want to to do. So due to lack of self-control, I would typically stay up until 1 or 2 or 3 a.m. editing and doing miscellaneous things that I feel the need to do because I didn't have time during the day. So one of the biggest things that I learned was, instead of feeling like I needed to have that time at night when the whole world is asleep to do all these things, it became something that I was looking forward to doing when I woke up and using that time in the morning, which is exactly what I did the next morning. It is almost 9 now. I just finished having some breakfast. This morning has been pretty good. I also took Bean out for a walk after I was editing for quite a while this morning. I still haven't finished that video and it's meant to be uploaded today, but because I still have so much time in the day, it feels less chaotic and I don't feel groggy from staying up so late. Maybe people are onto something about waking up early. Since it's almost 9 now, I actually have to head out around 11. This is my first coffee of the day as well. I always try to wait at least 90 minutes before I have any caffeine. At least we've hit day 3, which is probably the longest that I've ever gone when I've tried to do something like this. Back to the den. That's a big thing I wanted to touch on, is caffeine. I am personally a coffee drinker. I just need it. I need one at least in a day. But even with 1 cup of coffee, I have started to time it differently. Instead of waking up and immediately grabbing a coffee, for the last year now, I would say, I've been waiting 90 minutes after I wake up before I have my first cup. And there is research that shows there are benefits to waiting before you have caffeine. Some of it says that it also helps prevent crashing, which I have personally noticed as well. Okay, it is 11:05. I'm running late. The morning kind of flew by because I was trying to finish this video, but I'm gonna head out and have a great day. I don't know why I still have my scarf on, to be honest, but it is currently 9:08. It is time to get ready for bed. I haven't really spoken much, but this evening I did start to crash. I think I'm noticing like around 7-ish is when I start to feel like I'm ready for bedtime. Otherwise, the rest of the day went pretty well in my humble opinion. I'd love to catch up on some reading, but we'll see. Let me tell you, I was struggling to get out of bed. And one of my worst habits is turning to scroll on my phone when this happens. That was until a few months ago when I decided to pick up a Kindle, and I've been using this time that I would typically turn to my phone to read from my Kindle instead. Hello. I don't know why I just said that. It is currently 10:14. You might be wondering, what have you been doing for the last 4 hours? I wonder that myself as well. I have an appointment at 1 today, so I have to head out probably around 12. That gives me about 2 hours to get all my stuff completed, and hopefully the rest of the day goes well because I'm pretty tired. It's my first day or first full day of having my period, and it's just always an interesting time. I have my toque on still because I took Bean out, but we don't need that inside. Also, I just remembered I want to try this sleep cycle app. I actually used it years ago and then I never used it again, but I'm just downloading it now. Basically, you're meant to keep this next to your bed so it kind of monitors what it suspects would be your sleep cycles. But it'd be cool to do this tonight. So it says set tomorrow's wake up time. I'm not really sure how this is gonna work, but I've got the app now, so we'll do this tonight and I'm excited. It is currently 9:20. I look a little different because I took my eyelashes off and I'm gonna go to bed. We are trending kind of downward to when I get into bed, to be honest. I am gonna use that sleep cycle app today. Tomorrow morning is gonna be a gym day, so we are gonna get some weights incorporated in the workout, I think. Okay, good night. I definitely feel like I've lost my drive to get out of bed. It's currently 6:15, I think. Because I started using the sleep cycle app, that app actually doesn't wake you up at a specific time, but instead uses a window of time so that it can detect where you're at in your sleep phase. So it's more gentle and less jarring than a typical alarm. That said, it ended up waking me up at 5:49. Yummy, yummy. I'm gonna finish this and then I'm still on my period, so I'm not gonna do anything crazy as my workout, but I do wanna get some movement in. I wanna look at the results from the sleep cycle stuff later. Just a heads up, I predict a nap is coming today. Here's my brekkie, same as usual. I feel like I eat this 99% of the time, but I gotta say, since I've started waking up at 6 a.m., coffee hits different. Before I dig into this breakfast, it is currently 9:13. I wanted to catch you guys up on how the sleep cycle was. I was in bed for 8 hours and 10 minutes, and I was asleep for 6 hours and 33 minutes. The alarm ended up going off at 5:49. It kind of felt like I was half awake when the alarm started going off, which I think is kind of the point, so it's not as disruptive. It says you need to do 3 nights to get better results, basically, so they can actually show you any patterns. I do plan on using it for the other nights, but the issue, which I'm going to mention, is we have an event tonight. It's not until 8:30. I don't know exactly what time we're going to get back, but that's the thing with sleep, right? I feel like it's pretty common that people are good Monday through Friday, and then when the weekend happens, it's kind of like your diet as well. Things kind of fall off track. But according to a lot of research, having a consistent sleep and wake up time really helps you regulate your circadian rhythm. So what we're gonna do is I intend on napping this afternoon, and I'm hoping that will help me be able to still wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I've been in the exact same spot since you guys left me. I've just been working on my laptop. I had my green juice. It is currently 1:27. I've been here this long, but we're gonna go outside now. It's such a nice day. After I get back, I think it's time to get a little snooze in and see how that affects the rest of the night. Bye. Like I said, since I knew we had plans that night, I decided to try to experiment with napping. It is currently 4:25. Oh, you can see yourself in there. I made a terrible rookie mistake and left my contact lenses in my eyeballs, so I need to take those out ASAP. Let's open this window. Oh my god, I can't see anything. You know when everyone talks about how they wake up feeling groggier? This is me. Really, napping is more of a supplement. It's not meant to replace sleeping at nighttime. But I just wanted to try it because I really didn't want to be crashing since I knew we were going to be out later than the rest of the week so far. Alright, we are heading out. I honestly probably should have tried doing this literally any other week because most of the time I don't have plans on Fridays and Saturdays, but I realize that is the reality for a lot of people and a big issue when it comes to trying to have a consistent routine. I'm dying. I got less than 5 hours of sleep. I didn't end up waking up exactly at 6 in the morning, but I tried as much as I could. I ended up spending most of the morning reading before we got the day actually started. I just finished having breakfast. First iced coffee or first coffee of the day. I'm really proud of myself for actually waking up because that was not easy to say the least. I feel like that's the hardest part if you're trying to change your sleep schedule is when things aren't within your typical routine. The nap I think did help yesterday. I'm actually gonna do the same today because we have something tonight as well. Usually I don't have things to do on the weekend, which is quite nice to keep my routine consistent, but it's coming up to the holidays as I'm filming this, so we have a few things to go to, and there will probably be other times, even when it's not the holidays, when things are happening. I've since continued tracking my sleep after filming this, and it's not a surprise that the nights that I don't sleep enough, my sleep quality compared to when I do get enough sleep, it is significantly better, so that's kind of a no-brainer. But like I said, we had another event that night, so I decided to give napping another try. It is currently 3:48. So it's been about an hour. Good news is I didn't have my contact lenses in. I feel so old. I feel like after I got out of bed, I actually felt so much more refreshed, which is what you want when you take a nap. I also went out for a little walk with Bean, and I feel like the fresh air also woke me up a bit, at least compared to last night. We're gonna be there for 6. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we can get back in bed sometime around 11 would be great, but we'll see. I was definitely glad that I did take a nap, but again, it doesn't actually replace real nighttime sleep. When we got back, I was seriously contemplating whether or not to still try to wake up at 6 a.m. But through each of the days, I started to realize I had a bigger goal, and that is to actually rewire my circadian rhythm. It is not an easy thing to do, and that's why people always say you should sleep and wake up at the same time every day, which evidently I didn't do for the Friday and Saturday. But even though the sleeping time was not within my control entirely, I knew that I could still try to wake up at the same time. Because the thing with me is once I break a habit or I give myself an excuse to skip a day or go back to the way that I was before, it's most likely going to take me that much longer to go back to trying to build this habit. So I started to think about that as being a long-term goal, but in order to start, I decided I wanted to still wake up at 6 the next morning. Not gonna lie, I ended up hitting snooze a few times. I just had to. It was rough. After reading a bit, I spent most of the morning finishing a video that was being uploaded that day. I'm gonna be honest, I really contemplated going back to sleep, but I have a fear of sleep inertia. I'm gonna stay out here, probably gonna finish editing something. It's still pretty dark outside, so I don't really have anything else to do with my time. I've been editing all morning. It is, oh, I don't have my watch on. It is currently 9:15. I can't see without my contacts, just for the record, but I realize if I don't have something like a task that I need to do, then it's hard for me to find the motivation to get out of bed. I try to read, which was what I was doing this morning, but I don't want to just spend all morning reading either, so I realized I had a video to edit, so I did that. I'm gonna take Mr. Beansprout outside now. Okie dokie. It's just after 10 now. I just made myself an iced coffee. This is like a whipped coffee. That's instant coffee or whatever. I don't know. I didn't have any cold brew left. I'm really tired. I was trying to look up last night what the best approach would be because I knew I wasn't gonna sleep on time, and everyone, by everyone I mean sources on the internet, were basically saying to try to take a nap. I feel like I read that wrong because I don't feel any better, but I'd love to get to a place where my body has its own natural alarm clock, as they say, so that I feel like I want to wake up at 6 a.m. I'm gonna make breakfast. I just really needed a coffee first. Overall, this was a good push for myself, but I do want to continue this. So I'm telling myself now, this is my life now. This isn't a challenge, this is a lifestyle change. And that brings us to present day. I'm just gonna say it, I am so proud of myself for staying committed through the whole week. I know there were a couple of instances where the time wasn't exactly 6, but it started with 6, so I'm still gonna count it compared to where my schedule was at before. And I would say my biggest tip and learning is the importance of sleep. If you want to wake up early, you actually need to get enough sleep. And I always kind of knew this and heard this, whatever, but actually going through it, the difference in how I felt when I was in bed and sleeping on time versus when I wasn't, it speaks for itself. You saw it was rough in the mornings. I feel like when we hear that you need to get enough sleep and it's good for you, it's like when you hear that too much sugar is bad for you, but then you eat the candy anyways. And the biggest change that I think made this week possible was the fact that I really pushed myself to try to get in bed earlier, except for those couple of nights. But it can also be done gradually changing your routine and gradually shifting, 30 minutes at a time can help as well. Let me know in the comments if you're an early bird, morning person, or a night owl, and if you have any tips for better sleep or trying to wake up early. I would love to hear it because I'm still trying to figure it out. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video if you haven't yet, and check out other videos from me on the screen, and I'll see you guys next time.